Okay. Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about some Sql injection. Basically what I got here, as you see, we've got the hack bar up here. If you want to go ahead and download that, because make your life a little bit easier. I'm in Firefox, as you can see right there. It's basically, you want to go in to your add-ons, and you want to get hack bar. I don't know why that's not turning up, but you want to get hack bar. You want to get that. And I already have it installed, so I'm all good. After you get that, basically you can find vulnerable sites by typing something.php id equals blank. So here I got index.php id equals. Then you see how they all have numbers at the end. id equals that. This would be string based because it's not number, and so on. And I already have a predefined site for us that we can begin testing on. So first, in order to find out if it is vulnerable, you're going to want to put a comma at the end of the URL. And then you will see you have an error in your Sql syntax. If we get that, lucky for us, we can proceed. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that URL, put it into hack bar. Never mind that. Put it into hack bar. And you can execute just by doing that. And then it's pressing enter. Then after that, you want to put a dash before the 1, which is basically saying null. That's basically what that does. You can do either or. It doesn't matter. You can put null, or you can put or you can put the little dash in front of the 1. Either or. After that, we need to find how many columns are in this website. Order by, I'm just going to do 100, then you want to put 2 dashes after. I know there's not 100 columns in this website, but I like to start high and work my way down low. Then after that, execute. Then you're going to get unknown column 100, because there's not 100 columns. So now we're just going to do 10, see if there's 10 columns. There's not 10 columns. So now we're going to do 5. Is there 5 columns? That's basically what we're asking. No, there's not 5 columns. Unknown column 5, not 5 columns. And we're going to do, is there 2 columns? No error. Okay, so we know that there's 2 columns because we don't see an error on the screen. Is there 4 columns? Yes, there's 4 columns. Is there 5 columns? No, there's not 5 columns. So we now know that this website only has 4 columns. After that, we are going to want to do a union select statement, which union select, then you want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, because remember there's only 4 columns, so that's why we're going from 1 to 4. If there was 10 columns, then yeah, but then we would go from 1 up to 10, but since there's only 4 columns, we're going from 1 to 4. So execute that, and you're going to see that some numbers start floating around the screen here. As you noticed, 2 and 4 popped up. So we're going to take the first one, the very first number, which is 2. And that's the one we're going to be injecting our commands into. So before we do anything, we need to find the version, because if the version number is less than 5, we're just going to skip it because it requires a little bit more work. But if it's greater than 5, then we are good. And, oops, press execute. We see the version number is 5.6.24. Sweet, that's higher than 5, so we're good. You can also do the same thing by putting that. That'll also give you the version number as well. If I execute, same thing. So you can do either or. So now that we know that the version number is greater than 5, we can proceed on. So now we're going to want to do our group concat, then table underscore name, which is going to get us our table name, obviously. Then we're going to want to put a comma, 0x, 0a. What this does is it just puts spaces in between it, so we can like tell what's what and it's not all jumbled together as one long word, because that would be confusing. I'm going to do from, after your very last column, do from information underscore schema dot tables, because we're trying to get the tables, where table underscore schema equals database, because we're getting it from the database. Because basically in your MySQL you have a database, and then like underneath your databases you have a bunch of tables, underneath that you have a bunch of columns, underneath that you have all your information. So we're trying to find the table name in the database. Execute, and here is the list of our tables. Here's all the tables that are in there. So we're going to look for something maybe called admin, administrator, users, user group, something along the lines of that, because that's where the good stuff is held. As you see here, we have users. Yippee. So we're going to go ahead and copy that. Gonna make note of that because we're going to use that later. And then, now that we have that, basically you got to change everywhere you see table to column. So because it says table name, we're now trying to find the columns. So instead of table name, column name. Instead of information schema.tables, information schema.columns. Now, because we're not looking in the database anymore, we're looking underneath the table. So we need the backspace and then table underscore name equals. Now we have to put this. You would think you could just put users because that's the table name, but we have to convert this into a hex. So I gotta go over here. Where is that? Right there. You see, under encoding, hex encoding, fun stuff. Now that is just converted to hex. Now, for this, you have to put 0x in front of it. That's for any hex any type of hex number, you always got to put 0x in front of it. That's just how it works. So then, now that we have our table name, users, in hex form, we have a column, columns, good to go. Let's try to see the columns. Cool. So now we have a list of all the columns of user ID, username, and user password. That's the stuff that we want right there. Now we're going to go ahead and backspace column name, because we're not looking for the columns anymore. We're looking for the username. So go ahead, put that username. Now I'm going to go ahead and separate it by a colon, because I'm also going to grab the password too. Because what good is a username if you don't have a password? Now that we have that in there, username, colon, password, space. From, just delete all of this. This is, don't need that anymore. From, remember the column name from earlier? I hope so. Users. Oops. What are they called, users? Should have wrote that down. A comma in between the user password and that. Always something stupid is gonna mess you up. Cool. So now that we have our username right there, a little colon thing, and then this is our password. And you see, this is encrypted, so we really can't do anything with it in that state. So I'm gonna go ahead, take the admin's password, and let's try to decrypt this bad boy. Now, most websites are going to be using MD5 as their encryption. So we just could type in MD5 decryptor. And I like this one. Never mind, that's not the one I like. One of these things. Really doesn't matter which one. We have our encryption string, which is right there for the admin. And type in this little capture. And decrypt the bad boy. Ooh, found root. So now we know the admin's password is root. What a great password you have. No wonder you're getting owned. But you should never do anything with this. You shouldn't try to log in because that's illegal. This is just for learning purposes. I hope you guys learned something. Feel free to try it out. Enjoy.